Donald Trump, you would think at this point he would have an answer for this, right? Just like a stock answer. This, of course, he's being asked. He's back in Iowa. And we should say, Donald Trump, 1/3 of Republicans now find him unfavorable. Mm-hmm. He's still
30-point lead.
30-point lead
in Iowa, where Mike Pence is like, this is where I gotta make my gains, right? Like,
Mike Pence is not even registering on the polls.
He's at 4% in the last Fox Business poll that came out yesterday, and this is like where he's putting all his eggs into this basket because it's for evangelicals.
Honestly, anybody staying in the race on the Republican side right now this is completely and totally about, them trying to get some other job.
Book deal.
Butter up Trump, yeah.
Exactly.
Grift Trumpers.
But here is Donald Trump. You'd think at this point he would have an answer to this, but he really didn't. I mean, it takes a while till he gets can actually say a name of anybody he's ever met, for that matter. Here it is.
My question is, how has your faith grown since you decided in 2015 to run for president? And who has mentored you in your faith journey?
Great question. Such a great question. I've seen so much heartache and turmoil. I was a developer and I did other things, and I had a wonderful life before all this stuff.
Yeah, I
didn't know what a grand jury was. I didn't know what a subpoena. What is a subpoena? I had a wonderful life. I'm so glad. They were asked me the other day a little different question. Are you glad you did it? You had a great life. Are you glad you did it? I couldn't be more glad. I am so happy I did it because I've made America great. We can do it again.
Just to remind everybody what the question was. Who has mentored you spiritually throughout this? Well, let me answer another question.
What do psychologists do with hey, why do you want to talk about whether you regret running for president at all? Because you don't hear Obama being like, you know what? A lot of people ask me, do you wish you didn't do it at all?
Well, because
nobody asked him.
He didn't want to. It's been the devil's bargain. There's been other reporting on this that Trump wanted to run for president to make money. He wanted to promote his brand.
Of course.
And so now he's like, I got all these indictments. I mean, I just wanted to boost, Trump stakes or whatever the next thing is going to be.
The funny part is that just to be clear, President Trump, the question was not, do you think you're Jesus? I martyred myself for everybody. I didn't have to do this. There, go back. Go ahead.
A life before all this stuff. I didn't know what a grand jury was. I didn't know what a subpoena. What is a subpoena? I had a wonderful life. I'm so glad. They were asked me the other day a little different question. Are you glad you did it? You had a great life. Are you glad
Completely
you did it?
Different question.
I couldn't be more glad. I am so happy I did it because I've made America great. We can do it again. Right now we are not a great country. We are not a great country. But I've gotten to know, because of this, evangelicals, I know so many people, and they feel so good about themselves and their family, and they base it on religion. I had never had that kind of an experience where I got to know so many. And Franklin Graham and Paula White. I know so many people that are so incredible, religious people, and not just Christians, not just evangelicals. When I look at the Catholic faith, you take a look at what the FBI, look at what the FBI is doing to Catholics.
What?
They've made them like the enemy. They've made them, it's horrible. How could a Catholic ever vote for a Democrat or a guy like Biden again after the experience that they're going through? But I've met some of the finest people that I wouldn't have had the privilege of meeting if I weren't president, and they're religious leaders, and they really are incredible people.
All right. He never answered the question. The reason why he couldn't name a mentor on his spiritual journey is because he's not on a spiritual journey. He's never taken a spiritual journy.
I mentored myself in what spirit?
But I will say this, that I have been told that there is a significant Catholic population in Iowa. And let me just talk about how you're being oppressed by the FBI. I think he must be talking
I'm on
about
this.
Illinois,
Fox News.
in Illinois, they did I think it was the U.S. attorneys who had done this investigation into the charges against the priests. Is that I have no. What is it?
Recently, members of the House Judiciary Committee questioned FBI Christopher Wray about an FBI memo from the Richmond, Virginia field office targeting U.S. Catholics who are drawn to the traditional Latin Mass. This is Fox News' framing. The memo claimed violent extremists have, quote, sought out and attended traditional Catholic houses of worship, suggested, quote, tripwire or source development within churches that offer the Latin Mass and radical traditionalist Catholic online communities. I have no idea what this is in reference to. It was a Southern Poverty Law Center that released the memo, but it seems kind of ancillary, obviously.
Well, what it seems like is that somebody said, hey, there's a Catholic population in Iowa. And this would be a good thing. Remember, the important way to hit our voters is to talk about how oppressed and aggrieved they are.
Yeah.
And so this should trigger somebody.
Wait until Trump hears about how we surveilled Muslim people in this country.
Well, I saw them all. They were out cheering during that.
Cheering, right. That one was deserved.
Yeah, incidentally, Trump was first subpoenaed in 1980 with regards to a Teamster, I think, business associate who was in organized crime. So he knew what subpoenas were.